So, students, welcome back. We are basically discussing several strategies, and our main focus is how you can use a particular protecting group based strategies to functionally manipulate a given target molecules, and if the starting material was given, how your strategies should look like. We are trying basically focusing on functional group and PG based strategies. PG stands for protecting group. Now, this particular lecture will try to emphasize couple of problems which selectively deals with if you have a target molecule something like this, and I give you a starting material 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I say I give you this target molecule and the starting material is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1,5 pentane diol, 1,5 pentane diol. Now, if you see what you exactly need to do, you just need to put a new carbon-carbon bond here and 2 carbon extension, simple 2 carbon extension. Okay. In reality, this was done by I put a PG here to be on the safe side, that if you have something like this, you can just do a simple FGI through a functional group reduction. Now, these things can easily be done this is aldehyde, you can simply done by a Wittig olefination kind of thing. Okay. Now, try to correlate it. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this 1,5 pentane diol, you protect this one of the hydroxy group as this mono protection group, and you do oxidation, you will be coming up here. Now, earlier we explained that if you having a similar kind of 1N diol, where both the diols are having similar reactivity, you can basically protect one hydroxy group selectively by doing a stoichiometric control. Now, here we will try to give you a name reaction, it is called McDougall reaction. The McDougall reaction is says that if you have a diol, you react with one equivalent of sodium hydride and TBS chloride. TBS chloride structure was already discussed to you. Even you can use TBDPS chloride, does not matter what is the protecting group. TBDPS structure we have not discussed, and it says it is one equivalent, you need one equivalent only. You react in a THF solvent and you can basically get a nice monosylyl ether, either TBS or TBDPS based on the reagent which you use. Okay. So, I say this protocol is named as McDougall reaction, McDougall reaction. Now, TBS, the structure which you have already explained earlier, methyl is called tertiary butyl dimethyl silyl, sometimes also named as TBDMS. For the TBDPS, the structure is a silicon is there, is tertiary butyl diphenyl. So, 2 phenyl groups are there and you have a tertiary butyl, fine. So, now you start with your 1,5 pentane diol, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1,5 pentane diol. So, first do the McDougall protection or McDougall reaction, sodium hydride, TBS chloride. Even you can do the same reaction if you use imidazole and TBS chloride, that is also fine. So, you might have a route 1 sodium hydride TBS chloride, or we use imidazole TBS chloride. Both the cases you need one equivalent of TBS chloride, one equivalent of TBS chloride, but usually the yield for this reaction or the optimization is pretty good. So, you basically get this mono TBS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mono TBS things. Next, your job is absolutely simple, you need to oxidize these things compound with a oxidizing agent. Any oxidizing agent will does the job 1, 2, 3, 4, you basically get the corresponding aldehyde. Next your Wittig reaction, will be basically done and you will get CO2 ET is alpha beta unsaturated ester, and next as I said this can be easily reduced by a mild reducing agent diol, which won't touch the double bond, only reduce the corresponding ester, and basically you will get your target molecule, which was a allylic alcohol. So, here basically you use this and then you just remove the TBS group. So, sorry, this is not the target molecule, you have to remove the TBS group to get your target molecule. So, your target molecule is these things. So, in synthetic experiences, if you have a similar kind of functional group whose chemical reactivities are almost similar, you need to protect or you need to mask one of the functional group through a suitable protecting reagent. The choice is yours. Now, as I said, alcohols can be protected through a numerous protection groups, mainly you will find that alcohols are the most actively explored functional groups in the protection group chemistry. Numerous protecting groups can be used, mainly alcohols have been protected as their corresponding ethers. You will find ethers like benzyl ether, PMB ether, the most widely known I am saying, simple ether like methoxy ether, then called mom ether. Mom is nothing, is a methoxy methyl chloride OCH2 OMe. Then your silyl ether. So, silyl ether, you are having many silyl protecting group, you have a TMS trimethyl silyl, you have TBS or TBDMS, as I said, you have TIPS triisopropyl silyl, you have TACE triethyl silyl, you have TBDPS. Now, this protecting group was basically chosen based on their stability under certain conditions. Like this way the groups have been written in this way. Normally is found that TBDPS was normally very stable under acidic condition, and groups like TBS or TMS seems to be too much active under acidic condition. These groups TIPS and TAs seems to be having a middle activity. They are kind of reactive in presence of acid, but not as much reactive as like TMS or TBS, but TBDPS is somehow acid inert, but things will go completely reverse. So, acid reactivity is this way and the base reactivity is this way. So, if you treat with base, normally TBDPS is very fast, will be deprotected, but in contradiction TMS and TBS are normally stable under basic condition. So, in that way we often use a term named as orthogonality in the protection group chemistry, orthogonality in PG group chemistry or protection group chemistry. This orthogonality basically means that your how you can manipulate your different, let us say you are having several protection groups here in the molecule PG1, PG2, PG3, PG4. Now, whenever you are doing some reaction on any of these reacting site, in principle all the protecting group should be inert, is not it? Then I say that you want to selectively remove Pg1 to do some FGI on this reacting site. Now, under this reaction condition, your Pg1 should only be cleaved, Pg2, Pg4 and Pg3 must remain intact. That is the orthogonality, that your reagent system should only target Pg1. Now, if I say you have to deblock only Pg2 and you want to do FGI here, you need to find a reagent system which will only cleave Pg2, the remaining Pg1, Pg4, Pg3 will remain intact. So, that is the main beauty or main challenge to find a orthogonality in the protection group chemistry. Now, it happens sometimes if you are dealing with a very complex molecules, you might have a 10-12 protecting groups in a given intermediate, and that was very difficult often to find out what are the optimum condition to deblock or to remove any particular protecting group, and in those cases you basically your effort will be mainly optimizing the reaction condition or to find what is the best orthogonal condition to deblock these things. Similarly, on the similar way we will be trying to use another problem which is now based on something like this, a problem which was given to you is a target molecule and a 1,4-butane diol was. Now, this one you can simply do it by using it a very conventional reaction. You do a monoprotection. So, basically you will be OPG 1, 2, 3 OH. Okay. Now, what you do? You do a oxidation and then you do a vinyl magnesium bromide to get the target molecule. It is as simple as that. Fine. Now, if there is any other way to do it, I say let us try to formulate if there is a other way. Take this target molecule and do a retro. I will put a OPG here, sorry, OPG, and then I say if you have something like X, try to count the carbon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I say X is a chloro, bromo or iodo, and there is a very nice interesting reaction. If you take this kind of epoxy chloro or bromo epoxy bromo compound, you react with zinc, you react with simple metallic zinc. It has been found that this zinc reacts with this epoxy chloro or epoxy bromo compound, and normally it gives you a radical species here. Now, then if you have a radical species there, this is basically R, I kept it as it is. Now, this radical tend to cleave this epoxide in this way, and it basically will give you a O dot and a double bond here. Now, this O dot is basically abstracting a proton from either acid source or a solvent to basically give you a allylic alcohol. This is another alternative way. It is basically a dehalogenation reaction. Now, it is basically favored by a epoxy system, if you are having a epoxy system here. So, now trying to formulate the entire pathway. So, you are having OPG, the epoxide which I am now saying OCH2I. Okay. Now, try to do the retro. This iodo compound you can simply make it or access by corresponding alcohol through Appel reaction, through Appel transformation. Okay. This epoxy compound now you can basically make if you have a suitable allylic alcohol, right. Now, this allylic alcohol just now we have prepared, if you have the corresponding ester through a dibulk mediated FGI. So, this is also FGI. Now, see this one we just need for the 1,5 pentane diol. If you now having this OPG 1, 2, 3 with a Wittig reaction. Now, in principle, and this can be easily made from the starting 1,4 butane diol 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is route 2 and the route 1 which is pretty simple. The route 1 is absolutely simple. Route 1 is this one, route 1. Route 1 we say you take this corresponding butane diol, monoprotect, oxidation, vinyl magnesium bromide addition. It is very simple 4 step, but the other pathway also very interesting, but this is little bit more step. How many steps? You start with alcohol first, then you monoprotection oxidation 2 step, Wittig 3 step, then you do a dibulk 4 step, you do epoxidation 5 step, Appel reaction 6 step, then your de-iodination through epoxide opening, which step you are now saying, then finally you have to get rid of this protecting group. So, route 1 and route 2 both are in principle possible, and both the routes in case of route 2 you are having much more steps and route 1 is little bit less step, but route 2 the chemistry was little bit new chemistry, unconventional chemistry, which we have not discussed earlier, and that is why we thought that okay, let us talk about this particular chemistry. And here also use the particular protecting group. Now, we will talk about a simple protection group and functional group based strategies, which normally involve oxidation or reduction based transformation. So, basically these are similar, just now we talked about similar kind of problem. Now, this particular problem was framed in this way. The compound which was given to you as a target molecule, you see the structure, this is the target, and the starting material which was also given to you is basically having a keto alcohol. Now, what exactly you need to do? You basically need to oxidize this alcohol to acid, and then somehow here you need to put a methyl group with a olefinic unsaturation here. So, basically you need to selectively react this ketone functionality as well as alcohol functionality. So, means that we will now try to do a retro based on this thing. We say now first if you put these things and put a aldehyde can easily be converted to acid. Okay. Then we say okay. So, now these things can we used a protecting group chemistry for the free alcohol, because you need a free alcohol, and then you see if you can now make a intermediate something like this, or sorry, if you have a intermediate something like this, where this free hydroxy is protected, and you can do a methyl Grignard addition, do a elimination. So, that was the simple transformation which was proposed. Now, try to find it out how this entire thing was done. So, we will now go to the forward pathway. Start with the starting material whose structure was given as it is. Now, for particular protection group of this hydroxy group, you can use any protection group. Let us we use the simple protection group which we earlier used, a dihydropyran group. So, dihydropyran group was used, and then the primary was protected as a OTHP. Our next reaction, which we earlier explained, should be a methyl group addition. One carbon needs to be added, and then basically you will be getting a tertiary alcohol with this part remains similar. Now, we need to do a simple elimination. The elimination best way you can do it, convert this corresponding alcohol to a mesylate and heat with triethylamine, that will basically give you a E2 elimination, and methyl is now okay. So, you are almost completing the steps. Now, the top part was done. Now, you remove the THP group by H plus treatment, but in reality it was done through a condition whose name is Jones oxidation. It is called Jones oxidation. Jones oxidation is basically a chromium trioxide based oxidizing system, which was used in a concentrated sulfuric acid 8 normal was used. Now, this is a very strong oxidizing strong acidic condition. So, what happened? First, if you treat this compound with Jones reagent, OTHP removal takes place, and OTHP removal takes place at the initial, and then subsequently this alcohol was oxidized to corresponding acid. So, this was the target molecule which was initially given to you. So, this kind of simple transformation often is helpful to give you a particular designed synthetic target which was often desired. Now, next I will try to give you a very simple that one end diol problem. I said you are having this diol and is a OH1 OH2. Now, there are different ways you can basically do this reaction. I say OH1 you first react with TBS chloride followed by TBDPS chloride. Both the reagents was used together, and then what product you will get? One end is TBSO and another end is OTBDPS. Now, we will explain the concept of orthogonality. Now, I said we will be using both the protecting group as our next FGI. We need to first remove TBS in presence of TBDPS and do a FGI here, then TBDPS will be removing in presence of TBS, do a FGI here. So, you basically need a selective TBS group deprotection method and selective TBDPS group deprotection method. Okay. The selective TBS, I said TBS are much more acid labile, they are basically acidic reactivity, TBS are much more reactive than TBDPS. Okay. And basic reactivity, I say TBDPS are very labile towards base, TBS is not that much. So, means that now if you selectively try to remove the TBS, you need to use a acidic condition, and the acidic condition which was preferred basically by using a simple sulfonic acid, para-toluene sulfonic acid or camphor sulfonic acid. Now, this condition PTSA is, all of you know the structure is SO3H. Camphor sulfonic acid is similar kind of sulfonic acid, it is basically having structure SO3H CSA. Now, this compound can be selectively used to remove this TBS group. So, now basically you are having OTBDPS. Now, you can selectively do whatever reaction you want to do on this end. Now, here you can remove this TBDPS by simply treating with sodium hydride, which is a base, and this condition will now not touch the TBS part and will basically give you this OH. So, eventually you can, this is a very nice demonstration of orthogonality of these two protecting group. Now, I say that TBS and TBDPS are orthogonal to each other, means that these groups can be selectively deprotected or removed in presence of one another. So, TBS can selectively removed in presence of TBDPS or vice versa, means that TBDPS can selectively be removed in presence of TBS. That is what if your reaction condition allows the orthogonality, your synthetic pathway is much more efficient, and in that way you can basically fine tune the entire reactivity. And similarly, I will talk about another two orthogonal protecting group, though those are not very orthogonal in the true sense, like if you have a similar 1N diol, you react with protection group called benzyl and PMB. Normally, this protection was often done by treating the corresponding alcohol with benzyl chloride or benzyl bromide. If you are having a hydrogen here, that is give you OBN derivative, if you have a methoxy, that give you PMB derivative. So, in reality you will basically get BNO OPMB. Now, I say I need two conditions whether these groups are orthogonal to each other. I need one condition where OH can be selectively removed to give you OPMB, and another condition where OPMB can selectively removed in presence of benzyl. The answer is yes, basically you can do it. In case of benzyl and PMB, both are basically can easily be cleaved if you treat this compound with palladium charcoal and hydrogen. Now, normally this hydrogenation is very faster if you have benzyl, but you probably cannot get a 100% selectivity because PMB also undergoes cleavage with this palladium charcoal hydrogenation. Well, palladium charcoal hydrogenation is usually faster with benzyl. So, if you have this palladium charcoal hydrogenation condition, you will definitely get this product, but some portion of PMB might get affected. So, PMB and benzyl, in true sense benzyl is not exactly orthogonal to PMB, but the other way whether PMB can selectively be removed, this is with 100% precision. If you use a reagent called DDQ, DDQ structure is this. If you use DDQ, this is basically a single electron transfer reaction takes place. Now, in reality what happens, if you treat DDQ, you have a RO PMB, right. You react with DDQ, DDQ is this aromatic compound, this particular hydrogen, one of the hydrogen is basically transferred to the DDQ to give you the this, and then once this hydrogen goes off, you basically get a corresponding PMB cation, which is stabilized by this paramethoxy group. So, water now attacks, water now attacks here, and basically what you will get? You basically get a hemiacetal, you get a hemiacetal, hydrogen is there, you get a hemiacetal, which is simply collapses to give you the RCH2OH and your anisaldehyde, OMeCHO, and this also the hydrogen source is converting this corresponding this quinone radical to the corresponding quinol. So, this is a nice ACT reaction. ACT means basically single electron transfer mechanism takes place, single electron transfer mechanism takes place, and find that this now the driving force is the presence of this 4 methoxy group, which helps the selective removal of PMB in presence of benzyl. At some cases it happens that DDQ also removes benzyl at a very harsh condition. So, probably we can keep on our discussion on this particular topic, that how selective protection group and how their manipulation can effectively be tuned off to get the desired target. We will catch you in the next week. Till then, goodbye. Have a good time.